Thank you for listening to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Some said we would go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. The change train is pulling into Allen Park. Coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl, Seany J and I look at some possible first-round draft picks for the Lions. Then with free agency around the corner, we look at some possible cap casualties for Detroit. All this and more coming up right now on this edition of the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, though? This is Curt Steele, and welcome to the Die Hard Den podcast. And as always, I'm with my man, Seany J.
What up, good people? We're back after a little 2-week break.
Yeah, man. Hey, we had some issues going on, but we back in the saddle once again. How you doing, my man? What's going on with you?
I'm doing just fine, trying to live my best life. Right now, I'm enjoying this championship night. Michigan's killing Michigan State in college basketball.
Yeah.
We're in the Big Ten tonight, baby.
Go blue, as always. Hey, man, you know what we do at this time. It is time to tell me something good. And one thing that happened today, the Lions bring back 3 players from last year that were actually pretty good. Our Pro Bowl punter, Jack Fox, Jason Cabina, who really played well as a fullback, and Matt Nelson with exclusive right tenders. Now, these guys could only negotiate with the Lions because they're exclusive free agents to the team. Fox and Cabina were starters, and Nelson played pretty good as a swing tackle for Tyrel Crosby when he was injured. You know, the former defensive lineman, big fella. What do you think about these 3 guys being brought back into the fold?
I think it's a good idea. I think you take care of your own first before you go looking out for others. These are 3 important players, role players. Fox was an all-pro punter. Like I said, Nelson's a big guy, good tackle, good offensive lineman, are hard to find, as you know. And Cabina, he played well. I'm going to tell you something. There's a free agent I think the Lions to get, a rookie free agent. I would love for them to have. I would love for them to get Ben Mason from Michigan. I love that guy. He's a
we'll talk about that in a minute. But to tell me something good is bringing those guys back in. So, shout out to those young fellas for coming back to the roster. We really look forward to them doing something big this season. Now, let's talk about some players that we might want to bring in. So, we're going to go on the ball. So, this week, we're going to talk about some players that we might think about picking up in the first round. But let's take a look back at a segment Seany J and I did a few weeks ago about what we thought the Lions draft needs were for the upcoming draft. So let's take a look at that. So to recap, Curt Steele said, your boy, I said linebacker, wide receiver, and defensive line. So Seany J said running back, wide receiver, and edge rusher or defensive end. So just to refresh you guys' memory of what we said, what we needed. So let's get into these possible first-round draft picks. And some of these guys have been picked on mock drafts by individuals who think the Lions should pick these individuals. The first one that I have up on this board is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, in his career at Penn State, he had 99 solo tackles, 191 total tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 6 forced fumbles. The next guy we're looking at, because I remember I said linebacker, the next guy we have is Devontae Smith. Now, both Seany J and I did say wide receiver. So this is one guy, he had 235 receptions at Alabama with nearly 4,000 yards receiving, 46 receiving touchdowns. And half of that came against Ohio State in a national championship game with 16.9 yards per reception. Another wide receiver that we can look at that may be available at 7 is Jamar Chase. Now this guy was pretty good as well. 107 receptions, 2,000 yards receiving, 23 receiving touchdowns, and 19.6 yards per catch. Now let's get into this one guy. I know that once we get through these guys, I know this one guy is going to be exciting for my man Seany J. It is one Mr. Najee Harris. Najee Harris had nearly 4,000 yards rushing at Alabama, 38-43, 46 rushing touchdowns. That's a lot. 6 yards per carry. That's a ton. 6 yards per carry. Man, that is beastly. I can't lie, Seany J. That dude's a beast at 6 yards per carry. 781 receiving yards as well, with 11 touchdowns in the passing game. So he can do it all. He's not just a power back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. And the last guy I know is going to be exciting for both me and Seany J. So we both said defensive line or edge rusher / defensive end. This guy fits the bill for both of them. The next guy. It is one Mr. Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye from the University of Michigan. Now, it may be a reach at number 7, but he had 11.5 sacks, 23.5 tackles for loss, 97 total tackles, and a forced fumble in his career for the Maize and Blue. So just to recap, my man Seany J, we looked at Micah Parsons, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, your boy Najee Harris, and Kwity Paye as possible first-round draft picks for the Lions. Who is your standout guy that you would say, this is the guy I got to have at number 7?
It's just a toss-up between Alabama's all-time leading receiver and all-time leading rusher. Mm-hmm. But I would tend to go, I love Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. Like I say, Bama has Alabama's receiving record, but one thing that he's a stud, but one thing that scares me, he's a little bit on the small side, like a slim side. Mm-hmm. Can he put the pounding in NFL? He's 6'1", 174, but he might be as light as 164. Mm-hmm. He looks skinny out there. I mean, can he take a pounding in NFL? It's difficult in the weight room. But I got to, I love Najee Harris. I mean, he's a stud runner. The last 20 years since Barry retired, our running game's been pretty much anemic. Yeah, James Stewart had a couple good seasons, and so did Reggie Bush 1 year. Mm-hmm. But for the last other 17, 18 years, the running game was almost non-existent.
Right.
That was Matthew Stafford's biggest hindrance. He never had a running game to complement him. Mm-hmm. He only had 11 in his 12 years in Detroit. He only had 11 games for a 100-yard rusher.
Yes, very much so.
That's documented. Mm-hmm. People put too much pressure and too much weight on Stafford. I mean, he did all he could about a running game. And, I want to give Jared Goff some weapons. He needs a running game because he had a strong running game in L.A. And I want to give him one in Detroit now because people say, we got Swift, but Swift, just like Kerryon Johnson, we're still going to need a running back. And I just don't want another mediocre running back. I want a stud. I want a guy, want to lead the league in rushing. Right. I want another Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Yes, I want a stud running back. I want a juice, O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown type, or Emmitt Smith type. I want a true stud running back.
You taking it back with the juice, man. You taking it away. You put in a way back machine.
Jim Brown too. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I don't think the Lions are going to pick a running back at 7 because they already have their starter. Maybe down the line, maybe Etienne out of Clemson. We're looking at maybe 2nd round, 3rd round. If they choose to move on from Kerryon. So I mean, I understand the need for another running back. I don't know if they're going to look at it of the other bigger holes that are a necessity for the Lions. They may not go with running back in the 1st round. I'm looking at the linebacker position or wide receiver. This is because of the fact that we're depleted at wide receiver. We signed one today, and we'll talk about that later. But you're looking at I'm looking at Jamar Chase. Would probably be the one guy out of those guys that I named. I probably would pick Jamar Chase. I like Devontae Smith as well. And you talking about how slight of build he is. There's a guy in out in Atlanta who had that same type of kind of characteristics coming out of college, and he's doing pretty well in the NFL. And that's Calvin Ridley.
Kevin Ridley,
Yeah,
yes.
he's pretty light in the pocketbook as far as weight is concerned. But I understand what you're saying. So of these five guys, my man, Shawnee J. Just to recap, we had Shawnee J. going with. I'm gonna say he said Najee Harris because you said Devontae Smith, but you said you were more conviction of saying Najee Harris of anybody else, and I probably will say Jamar Chase. Of those five guys that we looked at, it's just what we would pick. You know, I like Jamar Chase. I think that he was very underrated because he played along with Justin Jefferson. He just wasn't eligible to come out, and they didn't have a good quarterback. You know, I think if he'd have had another season with Joe Burrow, his numbers would have been out of this world because he was a very good receiver with a good quarterback. You can tell the drop off in talent at quarterback at LSU with his year that he had. So those are the guys. First, possible first round draft picks. In the comments down below, let us know who you think of those five guys that we should look at drafting as the Detroit Lions. Now it's kind of time to defend the den. So defend the den this week, we're going to look at some possible cap casualties. You know, there's a rumor going around, Shawnee J, that there's going to be a bloodbath this year in the NFL when it comes to cap casualties because of what the cap number is kind of going to be in flux because of the TV deal. Is not going to be as much money to go around. So a lot of teams are going to cut some big name players to get those contracts down for this year.
Yeah, I read that. It's sad, you know. You're forced to cut some good players because of the salary cap, but that's the way NFL's set up.
Yeah, I don't think the revenue share, the TV deal is not going to be as big. And one thing is definitely what that affects the revenue share. If you guys, just to give you guys a little background, that the NFL, the ticket sales definitely affects the salary cap as well because the revenue shares, all the teams that from the sales of their tickets, all that money doesn't go just to that team. That revenue from ticket sales is shared throughout the league as well. And that,
of course, this past season with the COVID, a lot of teams didn't have fans or very few fans.
Very few fans, and that's going to affect the salary cap as well. And right now, there's still a doubt about how fast the NFL stadiums are going to open up for this season, the upcoming season. So they just still don't know with that. So all that being said, let's kind of look at some people that can get cut from the Lions that can open up those pocketbooks for the upcoming free agency period that's going to start here in a couple of weeks. So the first candidate that we have right now is Mr. Chase Daniel. Chase Daniel's 2020 cap number is $5.3 million. He has a $3 million cap hit if he's cut, but he's going to save the Lions $2.3 million if he's cut from the active roster. The next guy we're going to look at is one Jesse James. Now, Jesse James has a little bit higher cap number. He's at $6.4 million for his cap number for 2021 for a guy who hasn't done a lot in Detroit. Dead cap money is $4.2 million. He's going to save the Lions a little bit over $2 million. And the last guy we're going to look at is probably the biggest guy we got right now as far as a cap number, Mr. Justin Coleman, the slot corner. His cap number is $11 million for this upcoming season. If they cut him, he's got a $6 million dead cap hit, and he's going to save us just below $5 million at $4.9 million if the Lions cut him before the new league year starts. So we got Chase Daniel, Jesse James, and Justin Coleman are three potential cap casualties for the Lions to kind of help Mike Disner get some free agents into Detroit. What do you think about those three guys being cut?
Daniel and Coleman don't surprise me. Coleman, he disappointed me. he hasn't done much since he's been here. He had more opportunity to be out there to play. He hasn't. He did very little. I don't think he even had a pick, or did he have a pick? Yeah, maybe one pick
last
against
season.
Green Bay.
I think last season, yeah, maybe 2019, yeah.
Yeah. But there's one pick for that. We can get our money's worth out of him. I think Jesse James didn't get a fair shot. I tell you why, because they didn't throw him the ball. I mean, you can't expect him to do anything if you don't throw him the ball. I think that's so unfair on James. He didn't do nothing because they didn't throw him the ball. So I think he can play, and he might be worth keeping around, but that's up to the Lions, But I don't think they treat him right because like I said, they didn't throw him the ball.
Yeah, I will say this. The Patricia era did not use the tight ends wisely, and I'll think about, and I've said this before on other shows, that I think that it was a wonder that T.J. Hockenson made the Pro Bowl being underutilized. I mean, you think about if he was utilized like to his full potential, T.J. Hockenson could have had numbers comparable to Travis Kelce. I mean, that's just how good of a tight end that T.J. Hockenson is. And he was underutilized and still made the Pro Bowl. So I feel what you're saying about the Lions not using their tight ends. Jesse James came in, and then they drafted a tight end right after they signed him, pretty much. So I feel what you're saying. I'm still not sold on Jesse James, but if he gets cut, I'm not saying that is it'd be a good thing, but I think that it will help the Lions going forward. I think with the new young talent and with Hunter Bryant, you may be adding another maybe a low cost, a younger veteran tight end that that can fill out the tight end core, bring in maybe a stiffer blocking tight end just for those purposes. But I feel you, my man. I mean, I hear you. And we're gonna talk about we already have one cap casualty that's going to that hit the Lions already this offseason as well. So we'll talk about him here when we get into 2 points conversing. Hey,
excuse me, Curtis.
Yeah, go ahead.
We go further. Like I give you some breaking news.
Okay.
The Wolverines did it. They beat Michigan State 69-50, winning the Big Ten championship. When they were beginning the season, they were unranked and picked to finish as low as 7th place in the Big Ten. So go blue. Go blue.
It's the Lions, but me and Shawnee J, we get down with the Michigan Wolverines, and we always down for our Wolverines. Basketball, football, tiddlywinks, checkers, whatever the Michigan's playing, we down for them. So we riding for our Wolverines. So that's what we do right here on the Die Hard Den podcast. Hey, it's time to take a little break. So when we get back, we're going to go into 2 points conversing. All right, we're back, ready to go with this show. Now let's talk about our 2 points conversing. Now, if you're new to the show, that's when me and Shawnee J talk about some good topics going around the league, especially when it concerns the Detroit Lions. So, Shawnee J, give me your initial thoughts on the Lions signing wide receiver Tyrel Williams to a 1-year contract, base salary $4.7 million. That can be upwards to $6 million with incentives.
Well, I had some doubts about this guy because he's come off a serious injury. I know he's got good size, 6'4", 205 pounds. He's supposed to have pretty good speed. He has a history with Anthony Lynn because he played with him in San Diego / Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, people.
Mm-hmm.
I was so skeptical, but hopefully, once again, the new regime did their homework. They checked out his health. Hopefully, they worked him out. They didn't sign him to a contract, I'll check them out physically and run them through the drills. And if they like him, I'm going to work him out. He has the size.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, I posted in our group,
mm-hmm.
He has a good RAS score, thanks to our good buddy Kent Lee Platt. Good RAS score, 9.9 of 10 being the perfect score. So he's very athletic, but once again, he's come off a serious injury. and that always concerns me. So we will just have to wait and see.
Right. Um, I'm looking at this guy. Had surgery to repair his torn labrum. Uh, he missed. He hasn't missed a lot of time in his time in the league. Uh, Rookie year, he played 7 games, but he was an undrafted free agent out of, I think it's Western Oregon. So and out there at the Chargers, he had Malcolm Floyd and Keenan Allen was the starters. So he was. I mean, it's a lucky he even got on the field in this rookie season as an undrafted free agent. But he worked his way in. He played 16 games his sophomore season. In 2016, 2017, he played 16. 2017, he played 16 games. 2019, he played 14 games. He missed a couple with some injuries, and he missed the whole season in 2020 with that torn labrum. The thing that I would say that it's not a problem for me just because of the fact he didn't have a serious leg injury. But the shoulder, it does affect, catch radius and stuff like that with the wide receiver. I like the fact that he had it surgically repaired and just didn't try to, some players just try to rehab it or, go through therapy on it. So I'm glad he actually chose to get his the surgery. Let's kind of look at his numbers right quick. So let's look at his career numbers. The guy had 197 receptions in his career between San Diego and Los Angeles. Los Angeles / San Diego, and then out to Oakland / Las Vegas. So he had 197 receptions, 3,181 yards, 23 receiving touchdowns. And here's the biggest thing for me. He had 144 first downs. So he know how to find the marker and get to the spot and make sure that the team keeps moving the ball. So that's a kind of an untapped kind of a stat, that you really don't see. Like, okay, the guy has 144 receiving first downs. He almost has, almost comparable to, receptions. He got 197. So pretty much almost at 80% of the time he caught the ball was for a first down.
Yeah, he's protected when healthy. That's the question.
Yeah.
Can he stay healthy?
Well, besides the torn labrum, he didn't have an issue really staying healthy. I mean, he played besides the 2019 season where he missed 2 games, the 2020 season, missing that whole season, he didn't miss time because he was hurt before that.
Okay.
I mean, you look at the numbers. I mean, I said he only played 7 games as a rookie in 2015, right? So he played the whole season in 2016. 2017, he played the whole season. 2018, he played the whole season. He missed 2 games in 2019. So, and then he had the torn labrum, where that's a serious injury, but it's not like he was injured. He's not injury prone. He had something where it was a serious injury. So it's not like he had a whole bunch of he's not carrying out. He's missing games, a whole bunch of games every season because he had nagging injuries.
Well, yeah, I'm willing to give him. He's a Lion now. Mm-hmm. I want to see him succeed. I'm willing to give him a chance.
Right. See, I know there's a lot of people out here that are kind of torn with this signing. I'm not saying it's a great signing. I'm saying let's kind of give him a chance. Let's kind of wait and see what we're what's going to happen with this young fella. In the Honolulu Blue and Silver. A lot of, people are talking about his age. He's 29, but 29 in the NFL isn't the same 29 like it was back in the day. Remember this, people. Marvin Jones was 29 last year, and he led the team in receiving.
30. He's 30.
Yeah. So he's even older than that. You know what I'm saying? So, but next topic. All right. So, Johnny J, let's talk about who got cut today from the team. Who got informed they were going to be released?
Desmond Trufant.
Man, Desmond Trufant. What's your thoughts on that, man? What's your thoughts on my man Desmond Trufant getting released from the team?
Well, I never am happy to see a guy lose his job, but he was kind of horrible for us last year. He was hurt, either hurt or horrible. So then personal was business.
Yeah.
So it was time to move on. But like I said, I never cheer or happy to see anybody lose their job.
I feel you on that one, dude. I mean, you know, it's never a good thing when someone loses their job, but this guy, I was so ready to get him out of Detroit. I was ready for him to move on, trade him, do something with that guy. I never really to be. I'm a corner guy. I like corner. That's and everybody knows Johnny J likes the lineman. That's his, the big guys in the trenches. I like position players. I like the wide receivers in the corners. And I never was in love with the Lions signing Trufant because of his injury history at Atlanta. He came out the same year as Darius Slay, drafted higher than Darius Slay, and I never liked him coming in to be Darius Slay's kind of replacement for as a coming in to take his spot when Darius Slay went to the Eagles. I just never got it, and good luck to him. Good luck to him, but I was just never in love with that signing.
Well, I wasn't really either, but I was willing to give it like you say. Like I said with Williams, willing to give a chance.
Yeah, gave him a chance. He didn't do too much with it, but it is what it is. Now I'm interested here, and now Lions fans, if you watch the other show I'm on, Lions on the Prowl, you've heard my take on this, but I want to hear Seany J's, and I want you to tell the people what you really think. What was your feelings on the big uproar about Sheila Ford Hamp being involved in meetings as a owner? And some people were like, well, she's overstepping her bounds, or why is she being all in the meetings? What was your thoughts on this?
First of all, I heard some of that talk online, and no, she owns a team. That's her team. She's not stepping the bounds at all. Some people, she's just sitting in. She wants to see what goes on. She has the right to see what's going on because she writes the check. She owns the team. Didn't bother me at all. We complain about her daddy, William Clay Ford, not taking a big enough role in the team. He trusts William Clay Ford, and this did trust others too much in the team. He should have been more involved. Like he trusted Russ Thomas all those years, and he trusted Matt Millen and all those years. So it doesn't bother me. She's letting them guys do the job, but she has a right to sit there. She's the owner. That's her team. If she wants to sit in the team meetings, that's her right. It doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, because like I said, Sheila is changing the culture, doing way more than either her mama or father has done for the Lions. And I love it. Like I said, the Lions put together an all-star coaching staff and an all-star front office. Now let's put some all-star players on the field and let's make this a dynasty.
Yeah, I feel you, brother. Now, speaking of changing the culture, right? If you don't know, the Lions have started a culture task force, right? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to marry up a winning culture between the business side of the organization and the football side. So we're talking about making sure that the guys on the football side are involved with the philanthropy and the charity work of the Lions, and making sure they know what the guys on the business side are doing as well. Making sure that they understand what's going on. The Lions have kind of had some really hard separation of duty lines where the business guys are over on this side and the football guys are on this side, and you guys really don't interact. So they're trying to remedy that. I like the way that Sheila Ford Hamp is trying to build a culture that's conducive and winning. We think about like that task force. Now, some of the people that's on that task force, one of the key names on the task force is Chris Spillman, the special assistant to Rod Wood and to Sheila Ford Hamp. He's on that. Steve Hamp, Sheila Ford husband's on that task force as well because of his philanthropy and his charity work. So, what do you think about a culture task force, Seany J?
Once again, she's doing things that her father or mother never done, trying to change the Lions to the winners. We see how long New England was on top for 20 years, one of the best teams in the NFL. Everybody tried to copy the Patriot way. It didn't work outside New England, but sure it did work for New England. Now Sheila Ford is trying to do things the Lions way, Detroit way. where we can be more successful, build a winner going back to going back to our dynasty, the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
We won 3 NFL titles, you know. So I'm all for what she's doing.
Yeah.
You know, she's being more aggressive, being more assertive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's kind of more hands-on, but she's not gonna. I don't think she's gonna be like a George Steinbrenner or Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Man, Meadows. So Jerry Jones, he's not only the owner, he's also the general manager. He has total control. So
yeah, he's got that's bananas.
He's the owner, the controller, the general manager.
If he could coach the team, if they change the league rules back that he could coach the team, he'd be coaching the team too.
It's like Papa Bear House. Yeah.
He would go back to the old days, but I like what you're saying, man, because I like the direction that Sheila Foreham is going. We just need to make sure that, like you said, it just transfers onto the field to build a winner, get some players in here that's going to be able to win some games. What do you think about Dan Campbell as the coach? He's made his rounds, appeared on the Pat McAfee show. So what do you think about his appearance? What he's been saying in the media so far?
I didn't hear him on Pat McAfee, for instance, but I liked his Detroit presser. Mm-hmm. He's a former player. You know, like most of the staff is made of former players, NFL players. Mm-hmm. I love it. He's a player's coach. He knows how it is. Mm-hmm. He's not a guy like Matt Patricia, who never played. Well, Patricia did play a little bit at a little college, but still, he's not a Matt Patricia who thinks he knows everything and is one guy in the room. He's a player's coach. He'll listen. He'll be hard when he has to. He'll be compassionate when he has to. I love it. I mean, I love to hire Dan Campbell, and I love the staff that they put together. So I compared him to former longtime Steelers coach, Bill Cowher.
Bill Cowher. They kind of look alike too.
Exactly.
And they're from the same area, that Pittsburgh area in Pennsylvania. So.
And they got that same look, that same. It looks so. I think it'll be good. I think he could be the second coming of Bill Cowher.
So we can. God, I hope so.
We can feel like a dynasty like the Steelers or the Patriots have. I would love it. Put the Lions back on top like they once were going back to the 1950s.
Right. I feel you, man. I feel you. I like, and and people are so, they were kind of down on that Williams signing. They were down on the Stafford trade. I'm like, I like some of the aggressive things that Brad Holmes are doing, and one of the key phrases that they used when they were talking about looking at bringing in players was familiarity, and you talked about this where Williams played for Anthony Lynn, so they wanted to bring in somebody with familiarity, and I think his style of play as a wide receiver benefits Jared Goff because he gets separation, and that's one thing that the Lions didn't have with Kenny Golladay or Marvin Jones. Marvin's a little bit better than Kenny Golladay, but Kenny Golladay doesn't get a lot of separation. And so that's going to bring in a factor with Tyrel Williams where he wasn't injured in his legs, and he's going to be able to keep his speed up coming into the year. I like some of the moves. I'm not saying I'm in love with it, but I like some of the moves that Brad Holmes are making. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in the next couple of days. So, hey, it's time for our final thoughts of the show. We appreciate you. Thank you for checking us out right here on the Die Hard Den podcast, presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. You can go over and check out some content over on the Belly Up website. If you're watching the show on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join the channel. If you are watching on Facebook, like the video and share the video. Feel free to follow our Facebook page. Man, Seany J, big ups to my man Seany J. He does an excellent job of keeping you informed on what the Lions are doing over there on our Facebook page. And if you're listening to us on one of the podcast platforms, thanks for the download. We appreciate it. And thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate what you are checking us out right here on the Die Hard Den podcast. So, Seany J, what's your final thoughts for this evening?
Lions play their cards right.
Mm-hmm.
They can make some noise. They're gonna be better than people think. I mean, it's not a total rebuild, and I hate that word to rebuild,
Mm-hmm.
like people think, because they got a mid-veteran quarterback
Mm-hmm.
and Jared Goff replaced Stafford. You has some experience, a former top pick who already is playing a Super Bowl and made 2 Pro Bowls, but now getting a fresh start because he kind of fell in favor with the coach out there in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting a fresh start. He's appreciating his fresh start. If they were rebuilding,
Mm-hmm.
they would like done what a lot of people wanted, and that's draft a rookie quarterback like Trevor Wilson or Justin Fields or Trey Lance or something like that. By him from day one, that's a rebuild. When they traded for Goff, that let me know they're not interested in rebuilding. They're trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
So now see who they get in free agency, who they draft.
Right. My final thoughts are, yeah, it's going to be an interesting start to the free agency period. There's going to be a lot of players cut in the next couple of days, and I think there's going to be a lot of prove-it deals this year, just because of the fact that it's an anomaly with the COVID year that we had. You're still not going to be able to work out personnel in person, so you're going to have a lot of players that are going to get cut because of the salary cap issues. So they're going to try to do a one short year deal, a prove it deal to try to get some money down on the back end, maybe down the line. So the Lions may be in better position than what people think with the cap coming up with some of the cuts they're going to make themselves and some of the contracts they're going to be able to get players on the low for the upcoming season. So look out. We have an attractive coaching staff here in Detroit. So just how the coaches were attracted to Detroit. Now we can see if we can get some players attracted to Detroit and to be able to come into the fold and make us a better team. So
exactly.
All right, Seany J, tell the people how they can find you on social media.
I'm mainly on Facebook. My name is Sean Jennings. You can find me there. You can send me a friend request. And I'm also the administrator of the Detroit Lions Truest Fan Group. You send me a request. I'll be happy to add you because I keep both our Facebook page and the Lions Truest Fan Group well informed.
Yes, he does. My man Seany J puts it down over there on Facebook. That's what he do. All right, so you can find the show at Die Hard Den Pod T1 on Twitter. You can find your boy Curt Steele. I am at Curtis Steele 14 on Twitter and Instagram. On Instagram, you can find the Die Hard Den is at die_hard_den_podcast. Go over to facebook.com/Die Hard Den Podcast to check out our show over there. Or you can go over to our YouTube channel. Just type in Die Hard Den Podcast, and you'll find me and your boy, Seany J, right over there on our YouTube channel. Hey, stay safe out there. COVID is still rampant. A little announcement for your boy, Curt Steele. I went and got my first Pfizer vaccination shot for COVID-19 the other day. So I'll keep you informed of what's going on with my health. I'm doing pretty good right now, but they say that second one's a beast, so I got it in a couple of weeks. But just stay safe out there, people. COVID's not over. Just because you get vaccinated doesn't mean that you can just take your mask off and just go all out willy-nilly. What about you, Sean J? What's your final thoughts for the people?
Well, you stole some of my thunder. Once again, be safe out there with the COVID still out there. I know a couple of states are relaxing some of their rules, but still use common sense, people. Don't get all crazy. I mean, wash your hands, wear your mask, continue social distance. We want to get over this thing.
Yes, we do. All right, everyone. Thank you for checking us out right here on the Die Hard Den Podcast. And do something for your boy, Curt Steele. Like I tell you, all the time, whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man, Seany J, this is Curt Steele of the Die Hard Den Podcast, and we are out.